Welcome to the final conclusion of this whole tutorial. So when you reach this point here, congratulations, because yeah, it's been a long way to get here. I don't know, it's 8 hours or something here. So when I modeled this the first time, it took me about, I would say, 5 to 6 hours. But yeah, doing a tutorial and in between explaining stuff takes a little bit more time. And another thing is when you model stuff and recording it, yeah, you sometimes you get the idea to yeah, do parts that you modeled before in a different way, and that's what happened this time. So for me, it was a learning process as well. Okay, so yeah, we started off with some simple geometry here. Yeah, we started off with this thing here, and then we were going on. Creating those little rubber boats and the logo and I call those pointers, and then we created this main shape here, which actually to me was the hardest part of it. So and that's yeah, I tried many different ways to create this, especially this arc here, or this what's coming out here where the wristband is connected to. And that's a thing where yeah, you can spend a lot of time figuring out what is the best way to realize this, right? But in the end, so the technique I used with that curve coming down here and extrude those edges out, that was actually the best approach I did. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the result. Another thing is, if you take a look at those yeah, wristband pieces here, yeah, if you don't have an orthographic image from the side or something, yeah, you have to eyeball that stuff. So in the end, if you make this or those things a little bit too small, the wristband is not large enough in the end, or if you make it too large. And to be honest, this time when I did it for the tutorial, I made them a little bit larger than before. So but yeah, it still looks kind of natural, but I think they could be a little bit smaller. So yeah, and another thing, that lock down here. I mean, this is not a lock here. This is just some pieces of geometry that, yeah, if you have those in the background, they look okay. But yeah, a functional lock. If you want to model that, you should have at least a real watch in front of you, or some nice and many pictures of that lock. And that would take yeah, another, I don't know, hour or 2 hours to model an exact lock or something. But yeah, in the end, here we are. So another thing is that I didn't model here is that top glass here that's sitting here on top. I did that in between, so after the last video, and I did it when I modeled this the first time, and I had a problem. And if there's somebody out there who can help me out, please let me know. So let me check out if I find that here, that top glass layer. I think I got it here somewhere. No. There it is. Okay, so you might don't see it here because there is if I hit Alt H, see that's just a top cap of a cylinder, and then I yeah, extruded that outer edge here, and so I tried to realize this with the mental ray shader, the MIA material. And there are some cool glass shader presets for that, and they work fine. That's a fact. But if you have yeah, and that's the problem I'm talking about. So if you take that inner ring, if I can select it, so I'm talking about this bump map here behind that glass, right? So if you have that glass here and you have that MIA material assigned to it, and you render that out, you won't see that bump map here with that Rolex logo dented in. And I searched the web for that problem, but yeah, I couldn't make it happen. So in the end, I was coming up with a simple blend shader with a high transparency on it, and that's, yeah, it's not perfect, and that's the reason why I just turned that off. And so if there's anybody out there who knows what I'm talking about, the glass preset of the MIA material and bump maps behind it, just let me know. Alright, so another thing is what I was having different approaches are those wristband connections here. So in the end I took that curve and then did a loft and stuff like that, and that worked out fine. It looks okay, looks good. But there are different ways to do this. So a friend of mine, he's working in 3D Studio Max, and I told him that problem, and he just showed me that in Max, and I think in Maya you can do it as well, he took just some kind of a beveled polygon box or cube, and then he put some subdivisions on it, and then he took a lattice deformer, and yeah, that was almost the same result, and it was quick and easy. So yeah, that's some nice piece of watch here. So let me bring up some renders I did. Yeah, so let me click on the render window here. So yeah, that's a render I did, and I corrected here that issue with that chrome shader and that white shader on those squared boxes here. The funny thing about that was so I selected the interfaces, and always when I set here assign the existing white glossy shader to that, it didn't work out. So I had to do this the other way around, and I don't know why that happened. So I assigned that white shader to the part where it should be the chrome shader, and vice versa, and boom, there you go. So I don't know what that was, but so if you do it this way, it works. Just assign this shaders vice versa, and it works. So yeah, some cool render here. Another one with the same HDR that we used. And if I take a look at that, if you take a look at that anisotropic shader here with that shader trick, with that noise ramped into the MIA or MI reflection blur, I mean, that looks okay, but the pattern here, it's a little bit too repetitive. So yeah, to tweak that, you have to play around with that noise texture, or you create a noise texture in Photoshop to fix that, right? Okay, let me show up another one. It's a close-up, and that's the cool thing about our 4K textures. So even if you go real close to that watch, and you do some close-up renders, they come up, even the textures come out nicely. And that's what I wanted, so that's why I took 4K textures. So with 2K textures from this position, and that would have the same effect, but if you're going even closer, yeah, you need large textures. So let me frame in on that. Yeah, just some renders. So if you have that model done here, just play around with the shaders and try to create some own lighting setups to have some different views. That's what I did here. So this is a render I took. So I just put a Lambert shader here on that floor, and created one spotlight that creates a shadow here and illuminates a little bit of that clock face texture here. And this one here. Yeah. So yeah, in the end, some cool renders, but yeah, there was no composite work that we did. But that might be another tutorial I'm going for, to change those shaders here to crank out some different or some important render passes, and then go into Fusion or Photoshop and then composite that stuff back together. But in the end, I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you learned something as I did. And yeah, see you in my next video tutorial. Goodbye.